Hi, Mario.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Good. You know, they get shorter. You have to cram everything into one day.
Oh,
Gabrielle is a judge in family court,
a commissioner, actually.
a commissioner. So does she see cases, or how does that work?
She is the acting judge, basically,
Oh, but in the valley, where's her area?
in the children's court
Ah,
in Alhambra.
Alhambra. Okay. Impressive.
If anybody, who's the judge?
Gabriella, Mario's daughter.
Wow, so she's in the regular system, in the regular court system, huh?
Yeah.
So be careful, Ernie.
But she only deals, believe it or not, American Indian cases.
Really? Such a specialty?
Yeah. No. But she was put into that.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what happened to Andrew Friedman?
I heard he had a bowel obstruction,
Okay.
and they did surgery, and he got sepsis, and he died. That's
Oh,
all I
my
know.
God.
I never heard of such a thing.
So when you get a bowel obstruction,
Okay, you have an operation.
yeah. So what happened if it's
bowel twist? If
yes,
you have adhesions on the inside of your bowel, so if you had
Right.
surgery in the past,
yeah,
this intestine can twist. You go in, you untwist it, and maybe if the bowel was dead,
maybe there's an infection already.
Yeah, it must have been an infection. They said there was an infection already. It had sepsis to begin, apparently there.
Oh, he had sepsis to begin with. It didn't happen after. Oh.
It seems to be that way. That's what happened. That's why they had to go in and do that operation right away.
That's more logical. Yeah.
patients come in, they have fever, abdominal pain, elevated white count. You put a tube down their nose to try to decompress them. But you see right away if they need surgery. If you need surgery, go in. You know,
He was traveling. He went back east for his grandson's wedding. So
he
it happened
fainted.
in Los Angeles. What's
I
that?
think he
Granddaughter.
fainted.
so
Granddaughter.
this didn't happen in Los Angeles?
No.
No. He had flown on Sunday. The wedding was on Tuesday night. He had flown on Sunday, flew to New York, fainted in the hotel. They took him right away. Apparently it's quite a good hospital, Hackensack Hospital, and they did the procedure. Then he was okay. Apparently on Monday, he would seem to be okay, was getting better, but then he went into I don't know what happened. They put him in a induced coma or something. They put a ventilator. I don't know exactly what happened. Then on Tuesday was out. Then on Wednesday, he passed away.
Yes.
Okay. Ernie, welcome back.
Good to be back.
Okay.
Okay, we're on Pei Beis. Amid Beis is where we finished off. How can you be a wife of two men where then Levi there's no yibum? Kagon, Sheba Ruven v'kitcha chutz mishimin. Ruven gave this woman kiddushin and said, "You're also to all other people except for Shimon, my brother." Ubar Shimon v'kitcha stam. And Shimon gave her regular kiddushin, which he's allowed to because the t'nai that Ruvain made was chutz mishimon, so she received kiddushin from two men. The kiddushin Ruvain ahani lemesra alma. The kiddushin that Ruvain gave her assered her on everybody else. The kiddushin this Shimon ahani lemesra Ruvain. Getting married to Shimon prevents her from living with Ruvain. And then if both Reuven and Shimon die and they fall to Levi, there's no yibum because you can only be miyabim somebody from one house, not from two houses. So that explains the case of Shnei Mason. Boy abai. So now the Gemara is going to ask some theoretical questions. Johnny. Amar la'areat muteres l'chol chutz meruven v'shimon. Person gives kiddushin, and there's a get. You're divorced from me, and you can marry anybody except Reuven and Shimon. So he said chutz, the chazav amar la li Reuven v'Shimon, and then he said you're permitted to Reuven and Shimon. He recognized his error, and he said that which I said before, that you're usher to Reuven and Shimon. No, you're mutter to Reuven and Shimon. Mao. Me Amir usher shara, that he had previously ushered her from marrying Reuven and Shimon. Now he permitted it. Oy dilma maida usher shara. Maybe what he meant was that which he prohibited before, he permitted umay deshara asa. And imtim saloim or my dasar shara, maybe we're going to read it leniently and say the only thing he did with his subsequent statement was prohibit that which he had previously permitted. If he said leruvain only mao, do we say leruvain v'adin l'shimon? V'ayde kamer leruvain mishum de pasach because Reuven was the first person. Oy dilma is only leruvain davka. V'imtim leruvain davka. If when he says l'shimon mao, do we say l'shimon v'adin leruvain? V'ayde kamer shimon mishum de pasach he was the last person. Or double l'shimon davka by Ravashi. Af l'shimon mao af Reuven koi. Or double af al makoi. So in all these cases, teku. We don't have an answer to any of the questions that we posed. Okay, tomorrow we're going to learn at 6:30. It
says 5:40 in the Koleno.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Is there a
Because
shear?
Rosh Chodesh, there always a Rosh Chodesh shear. Erev Rosh Chodesh.
Okay, so
So
5:40.
5:40.
Okay, 5:40. Torah Rabbanon. La'achar p'tiraso shel Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer was the one who said in the Mishnah that if you says Hariat muteres l'chol adam el leploni, Rabbi Eliezer said it was a good get, even though you didn't completely free her because you prohibited her from marrying a certain person. After Rabbi Eliezer's death, nichnasu arba zakenim lahashiv advarim. 4 people came into the yeshiva to ask kashas on Rabbi Eliezer. Eluhe, Rabbi Yossi Aglili, Rav Tarfon, Rabbi Elazar ben Azai, Rabbi Kiva. Nana Rav Tarfon v'Amar. Arei shal chazuv v'nisis la'achiv shel zeh shenesra alav. She went and married the person that the husband in the get had said she should not marry.
Brother.
Right? And she went, right? The husband had said, with this get, I'm freeing you to everybody in the world except for Reuven. I don't want you to marry Reuven. She went ahead and married Shimon, the brother of Reuven. However, Meis B'Lobanim, Shimon died without children, and now this wife falls to Reuven, who was the person that the get that she was given had prohibited her from marrying. So in that case, he can't do Yibum because of the Tanai. So the first husband, Oiker Davar Min HaTorah. With that conditional statement, he uproots something midaraisa. That's the kasha that Rav Tarfon asked on Rabbi Eliezer, that he has to be wrong. You may not get divorced with such a divorce. Okay? Everybody understand how that works? Yeah. Because it would prevent Yibum. Nana Rav Yossi Glili v'Omar. Rav Yossi asked another kasha. Heichad matzinu Asr lezeh umuter lezeh. You can't have it halfway. Asr lakol. If you're an Ashish, you're prohibited to everybody. Mutter, if you're permitted to marry any man, mutter lakol. According to Rabbi Eliezer, who said the get is kosher, she can marry any man, but there's a certain guy she can't marry. But we have no previous case which shows that something like that's possible. Must be that Rabbi Eliezer is wrong, and the get is not a good get, even though he claimed it was. So far we have two kashas on Rabbi Eliezer. Not a Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah for Amar. Rabbi Eliezer joins in. Krisus Dover HaKores Beno Leveno. When the Torah says Sefer Krisus, it's a document that completely separates them. This woman is still somehow connected to the first husband with this condition that he put in, that she can't marry the Chaim Yankel. Halamanata shein zekrisus. Must be this get cannot be a valid get. Okay. Nana Rabbi Kiva v'Amar. Rabbi Kiva jumped into the fray. Haresh al chazu. Okay, the woman takes this get that Rabbi Eliezer said was okay. V'nisas le'echa ben ashok. Gets married to anyone in the market that she was permitted to marry. V'ayu lovanim, and they had children. Vinis armala. And she got divorced. She got widowed. That her husband died. Oh, nisgarsha, or divorced. The amda v'nisas lezesh shenesrala. And then her third husband is the one that the original husband number one had prohibited her with that t'nai. Comes out retroactively, the initial get, lo nimtza get bottle. The original get is not a good get. So now baneha, the children that she had from husband number two are mamzer. How could that happen retroactively? Must be that we don't allow her to get married even to the second husband, because we say the divorce is not a good divorce. Doverach, Rabbi Kiva said something else. This woman who got divorced with this get that excluded her from marrying a person. Well, it's still a get, so she's prohibited to marry a Kohen who made some agarish, and the husband who had given her the get dies. Lo nimtzas almona etzlo. So that turns out that she's a widow.
If the get was no good,
But
right?
no, she's a widow from the first husband who grushates the koladam, but she would be still considered a divorced woman. Bekava chomer. Ma grusha shikala. A grusha is a more lenient thing because only a Kohen can't marry her. And asur b'shvil tzad gerushin shaba. The reason she's prohibited to the Kohen because of the fact that she has shtickle divorce, even though she was really a widow, because the guy ended up dying. Eishes ish chamor l'kol shekein. An eishes ish is also to everybody. Alamarta she'ein zekrisus. Another reason why we say that what Rabbi Eliezer said that it's a good get can't be correct. Armelan Rabbi Yeshua. Ein meshivin esari lachar misa. Even though you all have good valid points, we can't ask a kasha on a chacham after he's dead, because maybe if he was alive, he would have had answers. Amar Rav Kulu Islu Pircha. All of these we'd be able to get out of. Libar mi Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Except that which Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said, which is you need a krisus, you need a complete cutoff between the husband and the wife, and by having a t'nai that she can't marry a certain person, there's still a connection between her and the husband. That can't be. The Leslie Pircha. Tanya Machi Rav Yossi Roy Anias Divrei Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah B'Divrei Kul. It was a brisa that said that Rabbi Yossi said Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah had the best kasha. So this is a long brisa, and the Gemara is going to analyze this brisa. Amara. Nane Rav Tarfon v'Amar. Reishal chazuv v'nisas lachav shel zesh nesra love. After she got the divorce, she goes ahead and marries the brother of the person that her husband prohibited her from marrying. And that brother, Meis below Banim. Now she falls to Yibum, to the guy that was prohibited in the get. Lonim to say, okay, Torah. It's getting rid of Yibum. So the Gemara, Oiker, Iu Okar. It's not that they get rid of the principle of Yibum in the Torah. He's the one who did it. Elamasna la'akor davar min haTorah. He made it t'nai against Yibum. Masna mi kamer lo. Who told her lo sagil lo mitzvah le'lach v'dahu gavra? She could have married anybody else. She's the one, by marrying the brother of this guy, created the problem. Elagorim la'akor davar min haTorah. So goyrim. So being a goyrim. Who cares that she's a goyim? I'll give you another example where by a goyim we don't prohibit me'ata basachi vo yisa. If a person marries his niece, right? He marries the daughter of his sister. Shema yamus below banim. He's going to die without children. V'nimsa goyim lakar davar min haTorah. When the woman falls to Yibum, he falls to an erva, because it's the brother of her husband, right? Because it's a niece, and you get rid of Yibum, and yet the Chachamim praise somebody who marries their niece, and so Hainu Pircha. So that's a good kasha. That's what we meant when Rava said there's a good kasha. Each one of these could be knocked out of the box. Now, in what case? B'mai. If he used the phraseology chutz mi Ruvain, we said Mishra Shor Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer permitted such a get to be used. The Tanya Moed Rabbi Eliezer b'Makashas Ishtav Amrla Harayat Ishtav Amrla Harayat Muters Chaladim Chutz mi Ploni. V'alcha v'nisas lecha v'nashuk v'nisram v'nisgarsha. Shemuteres l'zeshen esra love. Meaning, if she married somebody intervening, and then the intervening guy died or divorced her, she can go back and marry the one that was prohibited in the original get, according to Rabbi Eliezer. Must be, we're talking about when he said almanas, and that t'nai would persist even if there was an intervening marriage. And then if the t'nai was not fulfilled because she ended up marrying the prohibited guy, the get would be batul. So in a chanami, it's a case of almanas. Nana Rabbi Yossi Aglili. You can't have it both ways. Either asr lakol or mutter lakol. For it more low. V'harei arayus. Excuse me. V'harei truma v'kochim. Truma kochim is asur lezeh. A Yisrael cannot eat truma and kochim, but muteris l'kohen. So the Gemara says be'isur isha. We're talking about a prohibited relationship. V'harei arayus. A woman is asur to marry relatives, but other people she can marry. So the Gemara says, Ishus coming. We're talking about relatives that only through marriage. But when you get married, you're usher to everybody, but you're permitted to your husband. So I knew pircha. In fact, that was the kasha Rabbi Yosef Glili. Uvamai, ilema ba'almanas, that the phraseology was almanas. So hare hutra etzlo biznus. You're still allowed to sleep with that other person. He said, I don't want you to marry that person. But he didn't completely prevent relations. So the get would be good. Ela chutz. There could be no relation. Okay. So we're defining what phraseology would create the problem. Nana Rabbi Kiva v'Amar. A woman goes with this kind of get, where it says chutz leploini, and marries someone that she's permitted to marry. Bani, and has children. Then it's armalon is garsha, and then that husband dies. Then she goes in and marries the person that was prohibited for her to marry. Now the get retroactively to the first husband's not a good get. So she was Naish's Ish when she married the second guy. Lo nimtza get batul vanem mamzeri. Her children are mamzeri. So where it says Yachi, if you're worried about that case, bekulu tanai del manami lo tinsiv. Any tanai that's put in a get, she shouldn't get married because dilma lo makaimele litznoi. The tanai will not be fulfilled. V'nimtza get batul vanem mamzeri. And Chanami says the Gemara Hainu Pirchat. So each of these three attempts to refute Rabbi Eliezer didn't work. Now, in which case, b'mai, in which phraseology did Rabbi Kiva work? Ilema bechutz, but Mishra short Rabbi Eliezer. The Tanya Moiday Rabbi Eliezer b'magashi distor formula arep muteres choladam chutz miploini. V'achov anisas lechav v'nashuk nisram nisgarshu shmuteres l'zeh shnesrallah. That she's permitted because there's been an intervening marriage. He allowed such a marriage. Ella, amanas. And then Rabbi Kiva said something else. Davarach. Harei zesh and esrolav kohen. That now that she was given a divorce, she can't marry a kohen. Umeisa magarish. Then she becomes a widow. Lo nimtzas almana etzlo ugrusha. It's a kol adam. She's an almana and a grusha. Kavachomer ma grusha. She kala asura mishum tzad gerushin shaba heshasish chamura. Before the divorce, she was neshasish lokol shekain, that she'd been prohibited to everybody. So the get can't be a good get if he left something out with a t'nai. B'mai ilem almanas. If the phraseology was almanas or grusha etzlo biznus, that they could live together, not with marriage. She didn't, with the t'nai didn't prevent any relation. Ela chutz, must be Rabbi Kiva is talking about a case of chutz. Rabbi Kiva, I chutz virale, lusiv michutz. So we can ask a kasha like we did based on chutz, v'yamanas, virale, lusiv amanas. So Rabbi Kiva shmiele de amar chutz v'ikal amar amanas. Rabbi Kiva is responding to both groups of people. He has to kasha in both cases. Mandar chutz I pircha, mandar amanas I pircha. And he provided a problem for both shitas. So umay pircha, the more doesn't understand the last pircha on Rabbi Kiva. Inema Isra Kahuna shiny. Maybe Isra Kahuna, you can't learn to general principles of Eishasish. How Rabbi Eliezer not in Isra Kahuna Kamaisila. Rabbi Eliezer himself learned it from Kahuna. So Rava Karavyani Mishum Zakin Echad Kumas. because he brought the raya from when it says v'yatzav ha'itali ishacher, that you have to compare kiddushin and gerushin in all cases. So there is a kasha on Rabbi Akiva. So Omer Lan Rabbi Yoshua, ein mashivin esari lachar misa. Can't ask a kasha on a dead person. Are you telling me Lememim Shashua Kavasi Sphirale? Did he hold like Rabbi Eliezer? But you're not in Mifrach Kapar. He has his own kasha. So Hachi Karmelu, Lidi Dinami Aslipicha, I have my own kasha. However, Miu Ben Lididi Ben Lididhu, Ein Mashivin Sari Lachar Misa. You still shouldn't ask a kasha because he doesn't have the ability to answer. What was Umay Pirchad Rabbi Yoshua, the Tanya, Amir Yoshua? It says, V'yatzami beito v'aytali ish acher. Make ish kodmi avayashniya. You compare her situation prior to the second marriage, likidumi avi rishon, to her situation before first marriage. Ma kidum avi rishon to la gida be inish achrina. Before a woman got married, she's not connected to any other man. Av kudmi avi shniya de lo inish achrina. A second situation, when she gets married a second time, should be the same as the first time. She should have no prohibited relationships to anybody. And that was his kasha. Gufa. Moed Rabbi Eliezer ben Megarish Ishto. He specifically said, I don't want you marrying Chaim Yankel. And she married somebody else, but that guy died or divorced her. The Sarmlin is Karsha. Now there is no more Tanai in her get. The Tanai doesn't continue. Shumuteres Lazeshin Esralav. That she would be allowed to marry Reuven. Hey, Shiv Hashem Rabbi Chugel de Rabbi Yezer. Heichan Matzinu Shezeh Ois V'Zeh Matir. The first husband, with his get, prohibited her to marry a certain person. The second husband, with his death or divorce, mattered her to anybody. So we have no examples of that. Frankly, more of a low, we do. Mare Yavama, Shabal Oyser. She was married. Reuven and Shimon are brothers. Reuven dies. The wife of Reuven is prohibited to marry anybody else until she gets chalitza from Shimon. So the Baal prohibited her, the Yabe Matir, but Shimon is allowed to live with her. And if he does live with her and then he divorces her or dies and she's a widow, she's permitted to anyone. So the Gemara says, the Yavim himself, when he did Yibum, prohibited her from marrying anybody else. If the Baal was alive and didn't have brothers, she would be permitted to marry anybody, no matter that her husband had originally prohibited her. It's only that there is a brother that there's a problem. So the Yavim himself is the matir and is the one who asers. So that's not a kasha. So the Gemara says, Areish Nadori. Shah noider aser v'chacham matir. The person who makes the neder prohibits. The chacham goes ahead and undoes it. Amrav Yochanan ein chacham matir klum ela b'charota. Yeah, but the chacham can't be matir unless the first guy had regret. So he basically took his own net. It's not the chacham that's matering it. When a husband annuls the wife's ned, isha noideres ubal mefer. So Hasam Krav Pinchas Meshed Rava, Shamra Pinchas Meshed Rava, Kol anoides aldas baili noideres. When a woman makes a neder, it's really she has in mind the husband. It's really the husband who's taking care of both. Finally, we had Nana Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Omar, Sefer Krisus, Dover HaKores Beino Leveino. Halamata she'ein kazeh. That the get doesn't work. Ein ze Krisus. I've Rabbanon. How come the other Chachamim didn't ask like Rabbi Elazar? What do they do with the limud of Krisus? My Abdullah. The boy look at the time. They use it for the following. Here's your get on the condition that you don't drink wine. Or you can never go to your father's house. Ein ze Krisus. There's a connection that remains between the wife and her husband. Now, if he limits it and says shloishim yoim arei ze Krisus, so that's what they do with the word Krisus. So how does Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah learn that din? Because the Torah could have written kores and wrote Krisus nafka from the extra word. What do they do with kores Krisus? Kores Krisus ladarshi. They don't make a drasha. Amar Rav. Here's a get on the condition that you don't drink wine as long as I'm alive. Ein ze Krisus, because it doesn't break the connection between him and her. But if he says, Kol yemei chaye ploini, here's a divorce, but you can't drink wine as long as Chaim Yankel is alive. Harei ze Krisus, because it doesn't connect to him. Now, why not? Maishna chaye ploini, the dilma mois makamile litznoi, because maybe he'll die, and then she'll be able to drink wine and she's free. Chaye is didei nami. So chayai dilman nam. So in the case where he connected it to his own life, you could say the same thing. If he dies, it frees her to drink wine, so there's no condition. Why shouldn't that be a good get? So that's a good kasha. If he connects it to his life, then there's no get. If he gives it tonight, his life or somebody else's life, Krisus. Because the tonight could be fulfilled with the guy dying and she could drink wine. Rav Nachman. Hayom hiat ishti l'mochrat ishti. Today you're not my wife, but tomorrow you're my wife, Mao. Tiboil Rav Eliezer, Tiboil Rabbanon. Tiboil Rav Eliezer, Ad kan le'ko am Rav Eliezer hasam. Over there, when the person said chutz mi Ruvain, Rav Eliezer said it's a good get. Why? Ella dilamande kashari leoila. She's permitted to marry the rest of the world forever. Avalach Allah. It's a very short period of time that she was free. Maybe that would work. Maybe the Chacham over there say, if you say chutz l'ruven, it doesn't work. Because there was no complete division between the husband and wife. But here, where he says, today you're not my wife, tomorrow you'll be my wife. At least today, Pascha, Avalhacha, Kevin to Pascha, it's a complete connection, complete disconnection. Basar the boy other Pascha. After he asked the question, he responded, Mistavra, Ben Rav Eliezer Ben Rabbanon, Kevin to Pascha. It's a complete get, because she's free today. And that would work. And the get is chal. The Rambam said she's not a Megureshes. And the Rosh and the Rashba says she is. So she's a Suffolk Meguresh according to Allah. Okay, so tomorrow 5:40.
Okay, but so we're quite a bit behind. We have to catch up. Huh?
We'll catch up, and if we finish and we start Kiddushin, I'll do 2 blot at the same time like we've always done.